My name is Ethan Harlow, and if you're reading this, you're probably scrolling through Reddit late at night, chasing those wild stories that make you question everything about human nature. Buckle up, because mine is a doozy, one that starts with love, spirals into betrayal, and ends with me rebuilding from the ashes of a family that turned its back on me faster than you can say false accusation. It all began in the sleepy suburb of Maplewood, where I grew up in a picture-perfect house with parents who preached family above all else. My dad, Robert, was a stern accountant who believed in hard work and harder discipline. Mom, Linda, was a glue, baking cookies for every occasion, but with a judgmental streak that could cut glass. I had a younger sister, Mia, who idolized me until she didn't. Life was predictable until I met Sarah. Sarah Thompson walked into my life like a storm I never saw coming. We met at a coffee shop downtown. I was nursing a latte after a long shift at the auto repair shop, and she was sketching in a notebook, her auburn hair catching the afternoon light. She was an artist full of fire and dreams, studying graphic design at the local community college. Our first conversation was about her doodles. Turns out she was illustrating a comic about misunderstood monsters. I laughed and said I felt like one sometimes, buried under grease and expectations. We clicked instantly. Dates turned into weekends, weekends into living together in my cramped apartment. She was passionate, affectionate, always initiating those late-night cuddles that made the world feel right. We called it snuggling wars, playful wrestling under the blankets, laughing until we were breathless. It was our thing, innocent and fun, or so I thought. Fast forward 6 months. Things were heating up. Talks of moving in together permanently, maybe even rings down the line. My family adored her at first. Mom invited her to Sunday dinners. Dad grilled her about her career, but in that approving way. Mia even borrowed her art supplies. But cracks started showing. Sarah had mood swings, days where she would draw, staring at her phone like it held secrets. I'd ask what was wrong, and she'd brush it off with a kiss. One night, after a particularly rough day at work, I came home to find her curled up on the couch, tears streaming. I wrapped my arms around her, pulling her close. "Come on, let's snuggle it out," I whispered, trying to lighten the mood like always. She resisted at first, pushing weakly, but then melted into it, or at least that's what it felt like. We ended up tangled in each other, her laughter mixing with sobs. I thought we connected deeper that night. The next morning, everything shattered. Sarah was gone when I woke up, her side of the bed cold. My phone buzzed with a text from Mia. "What the hell did you do to Sarah? She's at our house hysterical." My heart dropped. I raced over to my parents' place, mind racing through worst-case scenarios. Did she get bad news? Was it about us? When I burst through the door, the scene froze me in place. Sarah sat on the living room couch, flanked by my mom and sister, her face puffy from crying. Dad stood in the corner, arms crossed, glaring at me like I was a stranger. "Ethan," Mom said, her voice ice cold. "Sarah told us everything. How could you?" I blinked, confused. "Told you what?" "Sarah, what's going on?" She wouldn't look at me. Through sobs, she muttered, You forced me." "Last night. I said no, but you kept going. Struggle snuggling. You called it. But it wasn't a game, Ethan. It hurt." The words hit like a freight train. Struggle snuggling? Our playful term twisted into something monstrous. I stammered. "What? No, that's not. We were just cuddling like always. You were upset. I was comforting you. You laughed. But the damage was done." Mia jumped in. She said she tried to push you away, but you wouldn't stop. "That's assault, Ethan." Dad's face turned purple. "Get out. Now. We're calling the police if you don't leave." I begged, pleaded for them to hear me out, explain our inside jokes, how struggle snuggling was just silly wrestling, never anything non-consensual. But Sarah clung to her story, embellishing it with details that twisted reality, how I'd pinned her down, ignored her protests. My family ate it up. Mom, who raised me on tales of chivalry, looked at me with disgust. "We raised you better than this. If Sarah says it happened, we believe her. Believe women, right? But what about believing your son? The police came later that day. I cooperated fully, recounting every detail. No charges were filed. Lack of evidence, they said. Sarah's story had holes. No bruises, no witnesses, and our text history showed flirty messages about snuggle battles just days before. But the court of public opinion? That was a different beast. Word spread like wildfire in Maplewood. Friends ghosted me. Co-workers whispered. Worst of all, my family cut me off. Dad changed the locks. Mom blocked my number. Mia posted cryptic rants on social media about toxic men in my life. I was disowned, erased from family photos, uninvited from holidays, all because of one accusation that snowballed into exile. I crashed on a buddy's couch for weeks, drowning in confusion and rage. Why would Sarah do this? Digging deeper, I uncovered the truth, pieced together from mutual friends and her own slip-ups. Turns out, she'd been cheating with an ex-Jake, a brooding musician type. The night before the accusation, they'd argued. He wanted her to leave me. In her emotional turmoil, she spun our innocent moment into a weapon to paint me as a villain, justifying her exit. When she confessed to my family first, it sealed the deal. They'd always seen her as a fragile artist, me as the rough mechanic. It was easier to believe the narrative than question it. Months dragged on. I moved to the city, started therapy to unpack the betrayal, rebuilt my life brick by brick, a new job at a high-end garage, a small studio apartment overlooking the skyline. I dated sparingly, trust shattered. But the real twist came last Christmas. A knock at my door, Mia, looking sheepish with a box of Mom's cookies. "Ethan," she said, voice breaking. "Sarah," she admitted it was a lie, to all of us. Apparently, guilt ate at Sarah. She and Jake imploded. He dumped her for someone else. In a drunken confession to a friend, it all spilled out. The affair, the fabrication to escape without blame. The friend told Mia, who confronted our parents. Dad was stoic, Mom in tears, but pride kept them silent for months. Mia, though, couldn't stand it. "We were wrong," she whispered. "Can you forgive us?" Forgive? The word tasted bitter. I'd lost a year of my life, my reputation scorched. But as we talked through the night, old bonds flickered. Dad called the next day, gruff apologies laced with regret. Mom followed, sobbing about how fear blinded them. We're mending now, slow, tentative steps. Family dinners are awkward, but they're happening. Sarah? She vanished from our lives, a ghost of bad decisions. Looking back, this nightmare taught me the fragility of truth in a world quick to judge. Accusations can destroy, even when false. If you're in a similar hell, know this. The truth has a way of surfacing, but it takes grit to survive the storm. Me? I'm Ethan Harlow, survivor struggle snuggling gate, and damn if I'm not stronger for it.